Samuel Kills.
Gregory Nozar. What is going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing, bud?
Firing up the new streaming service here and trying to get me some
you in the
football
festival
going on.
spirit.
Yeah, it's our last show before Christmas, so why not break out the Santa hat for
Man.
America's most adorable co-ho-ho-ho host. Come on, what channel's the freaking game on, man? Have we already started with the lagging? That's the other game. All right.
Yeah,
there we go. Okay. You there? Nope. We're
back. We're back.
All right. This is going to be a show.
So man.
Everybody button down and hang on.
I hear you, man. Well, dude, I mean, we put out a little content this morning. What we talked about. A lot of interesting things going on, man. Kind of hammered John Harbaugh. Took some slack from it for some people. It's okay, man. We can sit in and talk about what happened over the weekend, man. I want to start talking about college football, man. College football bowl games went on. Started on Friday. A lot of good games here coming up in the next couple of weeks, but not the expected scores. I'm going to start out with the school that's got the most attention, and that was Jackson State University. Deion Sanders pulls out a miracle, man. Gets the number 1 overall ranked wide receiver from Florida State to Jackson State. What do you think about that, man?
Man, I think that's got to say something about what is going on at Florida State, what is going on with the ACC when you're a high level recruit like that and you ditch Florida State for Jackson State. They're making the jump to 1A, or they just made the jump, and so I can see why it's a worthwhile school to go to. And I mean, we don't know why the kid did it. Maybe it's education wise. Maybe this is better for him as far as his schooling goes. But really, what I think.
What do you think about the allegations that he was paid by Barstool Sports to come over there?
Well, kids can get paid now. So I mean, you allege all you want. They're allowed to do it. So you can't.
Russell says money. Listen, I'm a Florida State fan. Russell, I'm a big, I'm a Seminole through and through, man. And I was shocked. Mike Norvell lost his recruit. Here's the deal. I think that's Florida State's problem. Deion Sanders did what he had to do. Deion Sanders stuck it to his old alma mater. And look, Florida State could have had Deion Sanders as a coach. Should have been the coach at the beginning of the year, not Mike Norvell. Even so, through the year, when Florida State started off so terribly, they could have still got Deion Sanders. But Deion Sanders wound up getting this recruit, man, and it says a lot. Now, let me ask you a question. Is this going to basically transform college football, man? I mean, we're going to look back at this and say, this was a huge moment for college football, because now these smaller schools are on the same playing field as these other schools. Like, look, Texas A&M was ranked, I think, number 1 or 2 in the nation in regards to
recruiting.
Their recruiting class. Alabama, Clemson, Florida. I mean, all these other ones, are up there. But are some of these recruits now going to look at these smaller schools and say, you know what, man? Hey, it is what it is. I can go there and just have just as much good time, and get recognized.
Well, if you're a number 1 recruit, a top 10 recruit, you have to be looking toward the NFL as a future.
Yes.
You don't have to play at Alabama, Auburn, or Ohio State to make it to the pros.
Right.
The NFL is littered with guys from you name the school that we've never seen play on ESPN.
Right.
I think it's Deion Sanders. I think he went there to be under Deion Sanders. I think Deion Sanders has something good going on in that school. I mean, he's coached prime time. Do you think that those kids don't have a great time? If not in practice, then away from practice, team meetings and team functions and things like that. It's good, but he gets results out of these kids too.
Russell's right, man. No, coaches at school have networking to the NFL.
That was my next point there.
But see,
you brought this up a couple of weeks ago.
Do you not think though that these coaches in the NFL and these scouts in the NFL are not going to listen to Deion Sanders? I mean, you mean tell me these coaches are not going to listen to what Deion Sanders knows what it takes to be a top-ranked NFL player, and he can basically pinpoint what these NFL players are going to look like? Absolutely.
Yeah. But here's my problem with the kid going to Florida State. Deion's not going to be there for 4 years. I can bet you. But as we just saw with Bo Nix,
they don't have the money to keep Deion Sanders.
No, they absolutely don't.
Yeah.
And you'll have, so Deion leaves in 2 or 3 years. And then this kid can go. He can go and transfer to a school who's looking for him. And this transfer portal stuff doesn't hurt the kids anymore. It used to be that you had to sit out a year if you transferred. It doesn't hurt them. And he's going to make some cash along the way. If Barstool gave him some money, good for them. Tell you what, anybody who wants to give me money, I am not going to say no. Most likely.
Correct.
So and the NCAA has allowed this stuff to happen. So maybe he doesn't have to think as much about what his future is going to be, what his NFL career is going to be. If you can get yourself an education, and set yourself up with a nice, where you come out of school with a $200,000 nest egg.
Yeah, but you know what, Sam? You know, and I know this is not about education, man. You know, and I know that the NCAA, when it comes to athletes, they don't give a rat's butt about their education, man. Look, the whole thing these recruits are coming in for are 100%. They're going to be coming in for get me to the NFL as quickly as possible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Get me to that point where I could be a better, person and a better talent to get myself to first round draft pick, man. The education means absolutely nothing. These guys are not recruiting on education, except for when you're like Notre Dame or something like that. But at the end of the day, these recruits are just athletic robots. Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw this happen. When NIL first came over, and I was concerned that Alabama and all the bigger schools are going to have the most money, like Texas, and they're going to buy these recruits and buy these scouts. These recruits and these 5-star athletes. But what Deion Sanders did is convincing this number 1 wide receiver in the nation to go to Jackson State is beyond shocking to me, because the school itself doesn't have money, but Deion's connected to people who do have money, and Deion Sanders can pull this off. Grambling State can't pull this off. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Georgia State can't pull this off.
No.
Deion Sanders can pull this off.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's something the school looked for in hiring him.
Right. Now, we talked about this too, Sam. Are these recruits are going to create these super teams now, and this number 1 wide receiver get a couple other 5-star athletes to come over to Jackson State, and they dominate the MEAC or whatever it is, wherever they're at, and it's over. I mean,
I'd like to go back and do some research, go over the last 10 years and find the top 10 recruits of every class, every ESPN 300. Find the top 10 and see how many of those actually made the NFL. Because you'll forget some kid's name when he comes from high school into college before he makes a jump to the NFL. You can say to the other top 10 ESPN 300 players, let's all come here. We can all do something great here. And then 7 of them don't pan out, don't turn into anything. And then your idea of a super team is out the window. What's going to have to happen is, or what I think is more likely to happen is you see some kids want to go after the fact, get a year or two in college, and then they see what's going on at Michigan State, and they're like, hey, there's some good stuff going on up there. Let's 2 or 3 of us take and run off to Michigan State from a couple SEC schools, and we can, we got a chance there.
Yeah, maybe. But again, I mean, it's just you'll pick a school. It could happen. It could happen in a rotation. You know what I mean? It can happen in rotation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. But again, Deion Sanders really shocked the world in college football. And again, I think it's gonna be a very interesting dynamic when it happens to college football. There's no doubt about it. And it's gonna be interesting.
If you go and you look at the Bo Nix to Oklahoma thing, and this is something that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about coaching at the time. Would you want to take an SEC job and have to go up against all those top flight schools, top flight recruits, and everything like that, or move to a school like Oregon or Ohio State or Baylor, where your conference is not going to be as difficult? All you got to do is cruise through your conference, win your conference game, and you've got yourself in the playoff picture every single year. And so I think that you're Bo Nix is starting this. I don't think that the SEC is. They're going to attract the best players. They're going to have the best teams for years to come. But you're going to find some teams across the country that have a shot at these SEC teams. I lost you, buddy. You've gotten very quiet, and you're still very quiet. Jiggle the cord again. Wiggle.
Right,
jiggle.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Daniel, we did post this morning that Bo Nix did go to Oregon.
I think that Juice threw that out there yesterday, didn't he?
He sure did. He sure did.
Yeah.
He was first report for us that he was going to go to Oregon. And
even last week, Juice, had something on that.
Yeah, he had to actually go to Ole Miss, was on campus, but then actually going out to the Pac-10, Pac-12 speaks a lot who Bo Nix is. I guess he couldn't handle the heat in the SEC. I'm just going to be critical. I mean, you can't handle the heat in the SEC. And Oregon, not the greatest competition out there. So, I mean, he wants to show his talents out, but couldn't hang it with the SEC, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's a downgrade.
I think it's an upgrade for Oregon. I think it's a downgrade for him. As I looked at some of those recruiting classes, and I think 13 of the at least 12 of the top 25 were SEC schools.
Right.
Like I said, that's a lot, week after week after week after week that you're going to do this. Or would you rather go to Ohio State, Michigan State, where you're going to get a couple of weeks off when you're playing Maryland, Rutgers, Northwestern, and Iowa's not that poor of a team, but Ohio State was in the national, or was in the playoff conversation until they lost to Michigan, and Michigan fought themselves into that throughout the season. So it's not the SEC or nothing. You have to when you take off your SEC color glasses and look at these things that go on in other places of the country. There are still great schools in other places of the country, and like I said, if I was an ESPN top 300 recruit, or if I was a middle to upper tier coach, I'd be looking outside of the SEC to go somewhere where I could do well and make noise and have myself a nice long career.
Got me. I'm going to go back to Florida State for a little bit, Sam. Mike Norvell just got extended, man, with his contract, which is shocking to me because, dude, he was not great of a coach.
No, he hasn't been.
And I don't understand how he got extension. I just don't understand it. Again, that could have been your opportunity to bring Deion Sanders in and do some damage, man. But I tell you what, dude, I was just like, what is going on here? I mean,
Yeah.
it makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever.
I if I was Florida State, I mean, he has not. Has he had Florida State in ACC contention? The last 2 years are very difficult to throw out, and think about how results that you had from those couple of years. But has he been that great? No, not really.
No, it's been
Not at
terrible.
all. No.
It's been terrible. But I don't know, man. As I said, we're gonna move on, man. And that was pretty interesting. Let's go over some scores, Mr. Sam, about some of these guys, man. And some of these bowl games. I'm by the way, I just want to give a quick update. I think the Browns just took the lead over the Raiders 14-13. So it's a tight game there as that goes on. One of the big shockers, I don't think anybody picked this. MTSU beat Toledo, dude, 31-24. Coastal Carolina hung on to NIU, 47-41, big deal. Remember y'all making fun of me? Where's Blake at? Blake's not here tonight. Remember y'all making fun of me saying that, my Tom Rinaldi story regarding Western Kentucky and Appalachian State, how I said Western Kentucky is going to rally around the community and beat Appalachian State. Well, guess what happened? Western Kentucky beat Appalachian State 59-38. You know what they dedicated that win to? The tornado victims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, I told you I only took App State for the name there. So that one, I'm not really chalking that up to a loss.
Fresno beats UTEP. UTEP's terrible.
How about Liberty hanging it on Eastern Michigan?
Yeah, but it's a big shocker. UAB. I think Juice is the only one who took UAB. Beat BYU 31-28. That's a shocker to me.
Yes, I was, but that's one of the cases, and I was saying this, that, if you're BYU, how much, BYU player, how much do you care that you're playing in one of in about the lowest tier bowl game that there is on,
I know, but man, you got to have some kind of pride, right?
No, I don't believe that bowls are necessarily for a player's pride. The quarterback from Pitt said he's not playing in their bowl game because he wants to go to, he wants to prepare himself for the draft.
Yeah.
Where's his pride to fight for his team and play for Pittsburgh and win them a bowl game. These lower tier bowls do not mean that much. And so for a UAB, it means more for them to beat BYU than it does for BYU to beat UAB.
Yes, correct.
Because I remember this stuff with West Virginia beating Georgia, beating Oklahoma, beating the pants off of them in some New Year's Day bowls. 10, 12 plus years ago now, and Mountaineer fans were like, "Man, look how great we are! Look at us going and beating up on Oklahoma and Georgia." Oklahoma and Georgia didn't care to be in those games.
I know.
By that time.
No, I hear you, man.
It's you can't go on every game that is like that, but there are some games when you are clearly a better team in BYU than UAB for something like this to happen. There is an ulterior motive if it's not just the fact that the UAB kids are like, we're getting our chance and you're going to get the absolute best effort we have. And you know what, Alabama, watch out for a Cincinnati team. They've got one shot. They will throw everything that they have at Alabama.
I think in the first half, but other than
right. If it's close in the first half, let's say it's tied or Cincinnati down by 3, or even Cincinnati having the lead in the first half, then it's going to get crazy.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. All right, more scores, man. Listen, like you said, Liberty and Eastern Michigan. Liberty just absolutely put a whooping on them. Utah State, like I said, man. Utah State beat Oregon State 24-13. Look at that. Louisiana takes out Marshall, man.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I think I took whether it was on the show, I think I may have taken Marshall.
Yeah.
But I think officially I would have went with Louisiana.
Yeah, and then Old Dominion got waxed by Tulsa, man.
Yeah, we took them as a homer pick, didn't we?
We did. We took it as a
Yeah.
holder pick. But
Yeah.
some games the rest of the weekend are coming up starting tomorrow. We got Wyoming and Kent State and San Diego and UTSA and all that stuff. So anyway, we got bowl games spread across all this week, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, UCF, Florida on Friday. Christmas, or no, that's a Thursday game.
Cleveland Browns have the ball, 4th and 3 on the Cleveland 30, and they do lead 14-13. This is the first of the Monday Night Football games, Sam. There's only 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
We got a double shot of Monday Night Football and
and then the terrible Bears versus the Vikings are going on. But and like I said, man, the Bears are inundated right now with COVID. Man, they just don't have a prayer.
Yeah. You know what I could? On Tuesdays, I'm trying to do like a what happened this weekend in sports and a let's look ahead to the week and the weekend in sports. But when I'm going to sit down here and put something together tomorrow, there's still 2 more football games that are going to go on. I can't give a great recap of playoff positioning because there's a game that is for playoff positioning tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. Tuesday night in sports is going to be a little bit all over the place tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm not talk about the NFL and their COVID policy and everything else that's going on, man, and what the mess that we're in right now, man.
If you don't like the NFL's COVID policy, click refresh, and the policy has probably changed. I don't understand it. Like maybe I need to go and dig up and figure out what this is. What is it? When a player goes into COVID protocol, what causes him to get into COVID protocol? Because you hear COVID protocol, but then you hear some other players who have tested positive. And COVID protocol, it's like they're only gone a handful of days and stuff.
Well, that's a great question, man. COVID protocol means they've tested positive for COVID. And I mean, they literally are walking around with COVID. Now, here's the problem with that. You've got guys that are double vaxxed and triple vaxxed and boosted and all that other stuff. But you know, they're still in there and they're allowed to play. I mean, they're allowed to, they're allowed to, get contact with one another and all that stuff. But guys, I mean, they are, just because they're vaccinated doesn't mean that they still can't get COVID. I think the NFL has done a disservice in the fact that because they think that these guys are double vaccinated, that it's just a free for all and they can do whatever they want to. They're treating the unvaccinated folks like they're a bunch of redheaded stuck children, and they act like they're the only one who can spread COVID. When in fact it's the ones who have vaccinations that are spreading COVID.
If you're vaccinated, you can get COVID. If you're unvaccinated, you can get COVID. If you're unvaccinated, you can spread COVID. If you're vaccinated, you can spread. So it's an all over the place thing. And I think that they were very lucky for 14, 15 weeks with very little of this stuff happening.
Yes.
But it's as the weather changes, as we all go back inside, this is all changing, and as everyone has relaxed their guard a little bit and wearing masks a whole lot less and going to more crowded spaces and going to dinner and things like that in spending this time inside, that we've the perfect storm is there for COVID to make its comeback, and it has. So it would have been nice for them to have maybe been out ahead of this, and gone back to some virtual meetings and things like that, like they've done for this week. But I do like their idea that you can test out of COVID protocol, and that you don't have to have 2 negative tests 24 hours apart. You can have a negative test, do another test, get negative again, and boom, you're ready to go. Which I'm not really against that. Let's get these healthy guys out there to do their jobs.
Yeah. Well, I've got a problem with the way NFL's handled this because again, I think they're really absolutely going on just false promises. I mean, they've listened to a lot of just stuff that's just not true, and they're putting themselves in a position because you remember, Sam, in the very beginning they said if a team who's inundated and has an outbreak like the Bears, like the Browns, like the Washington football team, who's all had to reschedule their games. They said that they would have to forfeit. Well, now they're changing their tune because they were all following NFL guidelines.
Yep.
They're still in this outbreak, and now the NFL is like, okay, we're just going to reschedule it instead of forfeiting. Well,
Yep.
which one is it? Is it forfeiting or is it going to be rescheduling? You know what I mean?
I think they're trying to do the reschedule thing, and they can use Monday and Tuesday to try and reschedule some games too. But once you get past that, you're out. But I mean, if you're like Washington is, fighting for a playoff spot, and I don't know who's going to quarterback Washington tomorrow against the Eagles.
No one knows. I mean, they signed some.
Yeah.
They signed some Yahoo off the street.
Yeah, I think he played a game last year for Dallas. This is crazy. I mean, it's you're going to get a bad product when you put poor players like this on the field. You're setting up the chance for lots of people to get injured.
And
not
no
just
one wants
that
to see him.
player.
Listen, I don't want to see this game tonight. I'm the biggest Bear fan there is. I don't want to see this game tonight.
No, no.
I mean, I just don't.
No. I don't. I don't either. I don't care. I'm not interested in it. And then to go on and set yourself up on Tuesday with two games going right up against each other. Come on, NFL. Why are you not? And this Raiders Browns game, this was supposed to be on Saturday, wasn't it?
This was supposed to be. Yes, exactly.
Right. So when the NFL can start their Saturday games, oh, sorry, we've only got one. We had two scheduled, now we've only got one.
Correct.
I mean, that throws everybody off. That throws everything off.
Yes.
But would you rather have this game on right now, or would you rather have it canceled flat out? And whoever has the most players out. Well, sorry, you guys take the loss. I don't.
Great question, man.
I think. I mean, I think you have the ability to move games to Monday and Tuesday. Go ahead and do it. I think they should have, spread out a little bit more. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Spread out a little bit more and
well, they can. They've got the room to do it, and they should have took the Chicago game, and they should have spread it out to Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then when is Chicago going to turn around and play again Saturday? I don't think you can do that. I think you can play Tuesday and get ready to play Sunday. It's still going to be a push. It's still going to be a lot on the players, but I don't think they can play Wednesday and Sunday.
No, but hey. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, so all right. So as we're talking about it, I'm going to hit refresh and actually the COVID policy hasn't changed. Maybe the next refresh it will. Who knows?
Of course. Yeah.
But, so I mean, and there was some upsets that went down this weekend in the NFL too. Patriots go down. The Lions beat the Cardinals. And who bet on the Cardinals or the Lions to take the Cardinals?
Well, I told everybody, do not bet this weekend. You know what I mean? Like, do not bet this weekend. It just doesn't make sense to bet because I mean these lines are so messed up, man. And I mean all the parlays got blown up because of the Cardinals Lions. So the bet house absolutely. All these bookkeepers absolutely tore it up. There's just no way around it.
Las Vegas Raiders beat the Cleveland Browns 16-14. The Raiders kick a field goal with 1:50 left to take the lead, and then they shut them down. And so that's Cleveland falls behind a little further in that NFC North.
Yep.
which is being led by
The NFC North is being led.
AFC North. Sorry,
Oh, that would be the Cincinnati Bengals.
Eric Siddiqui's Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
We laughed him off the show.
Yeah, we did.
When we made so much fun of him, he's never been back since for picking the Bengals. And now look how right he looks.
Yeah, he looks 100% right, man.
Yeah, he knew something we didn't know, and the Ravens have kind of helped Cincinnati stay in this division too.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
You were not happy with Harbaugh and that call when you jumped on your Monday show here.
You want to recap that? You think I was right or wrong?
Your point was Harbaugh following analytics is wrong. I agree with that. I think with what Harbaugh had to work with, the fact that you had Green Bay, you had a chance to beat Green Bay, I liked that call in that situation to go for 2. I liked his call 2 weeks ago, to go for 2, to try and win a game. I'm not going to knock him for it. Most failed 2-point conversions. It's not. I don't think it's a question of whether you should or shouldn't have gone for it. I think it's a question of your play calling in that situation. And I didn't like what they actually ran as far as the play go. But if I was Harbaugh and I was making the decision, I wouldn't have had to think twice about it. It would be, we're going for 2. We're gonna try and beat the Packers right here, right now.
I completely disagreed with his mentality there. I mean, he said that in his press conference he was going with what the number said. Okay, my whole point was this: you're 0 for 2. Okay, you're 0 for 2 in the last 3 games. You're playing with your playoff life. Okay, you gave up the AFC North division crown so far because you're trying to, do what the analytics is telling you to do, and instead of looking at the actual situation, the momentum, the crowd is behind you. Look, I understand it when you do it at home, and you're trying to get the crowd and everything with you and all that stuff. The analytics say that you do it there, but not on the road. And that's where his mistake was. You know what I mean? His mistake was trying to do it on the road. And, when you go 0 for 2 like that, man, that's tough.
Yeah. But that's a, that game in Pittsburgh against the Steelers, that's a division game. And I think that that's another one where you need to look at the situation is this is the Steelers. We've got to put the Steelers out right now. And so let's take the shot to do it. And then I think they missed the 2-point conversion, but recovered the onside kick.
Yes.
Did you? I think that was maybe the second onside kick that was recovered this season. Did you see the guy? The ball bounces off him, and he's like, "Wait, ball, where, ball?"
Yeah,
and it just flies right to the guy to the guy from the Ravens. I was like, okay, but then they clearly lay an egg on that final drive. I think they didn't even make a first down.
Right.
But again, situational. So okay, let's skip past the Steelers game. So if you were the coach of the Baltimore Ravens last night, would you have gone for 2 in that situation?
No.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't have. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is on the sideline or not, man. The fact of the matter is, you're at home. I would go for overtime. You just literally came back. Okay, you got all the momentum on your side. You got Tyler Huntley playing out of his freaking mind. He's on tap. I mean, he's doing what he had to do to get him back. There's not a chance. I'm going to not kick the field goal or not kick the extra point. Also, too, you got to remember, Sam, they have the best kicker in the NFL. Okay, on their side. If their defense gets a stop, and just has Green Bay kicking a field goal, I trust my offense to go down there and score a touchdown and win the game. If at worst you take your kicker and you tie and you try to go for the win, man.
But you just said that Hundley was playing such a great game.
Yes, he was, but
so why not let him try and win it for you right there?
Because it was so predictable what they were doing in the red zone, dude. Everybody knew it was going to go to Mark Andrews at that point.
Yeah, everybody knew that. I'm putting that on play calling, not the decision to go for it.
I think it's both. I think it's both.
I think that you could have. I like the idea of fake right, roll left, throw left.
Yeah,
something like that. But it's just in the 2-point conversion realm, I think you've got to do a little bit more misdirection stuff, as opposed to just they knew where the ball was going. The Green Bay safety was at the goal line and tipped it away. They knew the play because it was a similar play that they ran a couple of weeks prior. So I'm more against the play calling than the situation of going for two. If it was me, I would have gone for the win. I would not have wanted to ever let Aaron Rodgers touch the ball again. If your choice is give Aaron Rodgers the ball or keep the ball from Aaron Rodgers, you keep the ball from Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, but here's the deal too, dude. You got to remember they could have gotten the coin toss their way, got the ball, and scored a touchdown right down, and because Green Bay's defense wasn't playing great either. You know what I mean? So they could have got the ball and scored the touchdown right there, dude.
So that's why we get paid the big bucks to just sit here and talk about it after the fact, and we're not facing the media like Harbaugh and where he had to answer that. And
I like that new overlay right there, man.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, that's pretty good. So if they had won the Steelers game on the 2-point conversion 2 weeks ago,
I would have felt a little bit better.
You would have felt a little bit better.
I would have.
But the fact that they've done it twice, I think they said this is the first team to lose.
They did it twice.
Two of those on failed 2-point conversions in a season. Mm-hmm. So it's. But I'd go for it. I would.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of doing that, man. Look, I guess I'm old school. I would trust my team as a whole. Now, if my team loses it is what it is. But this analytics in football, I'm just not. I don't think that it. I think it can be used as a tool, but it should not be your ultimate decision. And I think where John Harbaugh made a mistake was when he got up there and said that he used analytics or used the numbers to make his decision. He just had this gut feeling based on the numbers. No. I'm sorry. That's just not the way things work, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like what you said about analytics in football. Your video that was posted on YouTube here earlier today, that use the analytical tools to build a team, but when it comes to calling plays and X's and O's, that it has to be a human coach doing that and making those calls and making the decision themselves. But it's been used forever. There's this whole formula. If you're down by this many points, you go for two. Or if you're leading by this many points, you go for two or kick a field goal. And that's been around for years and years and years and years now.
Yeah, look, like I said in what I posted, if that's the case, man, then what do you need a head coach for? Because IBM Watson would make the decisions for you. You know what I mean?
And when you and I talked about this earlier, and like you said, there are way more variables in the NFL than there are in baseball. When analytics, I think, is very, very useful in baseball. When you've got a pitcher facing a batter, and it's 2-0, and you know that this guy hits 417 fastballs 2-0. So you're not going to throw him a fastball. That's so analytics there helps because it's 1 versus 1. Yeah. In the NFL, it's 11 versus 11. You have 11 times more variables in the human form. Not to mention other things like you mentioned, such as conditions, momentum, who the other team is facing, or who you're going to be lining up against, going for that 2-point conversion. So it has to be a more of a coach's gut than following the numbers on that.
Yeah, we can't leave tonight without talking about what the heck happened to Tom Brady. Tom Brady suffers his first shutout since his 255th game.
Yeah,
Dude, New Orleans has got it in his head. New Orleans has his number, man. 9-0.
Yeah. What a score in that game too. A 9 to nothing. I mean,
dude, listen. There was a bet. I think it was 2,500 to 1 that was made. Just like 3 bets at various casinos. That was 2,500 to 1 that both teams were not going to score a touchdown that game.
Wow.
2,500 to 1.
Yeah, and so is the funny thing is about this too, as I was looking at stuff just the other day, I don't know where I've got that note at, but I looked at all of your division leaders, your playoff teams, and who I gave them had the most confidence in. Let me north south. Tampa Bay, their last 4 games this season, did not have a team scheduled over 500. Tampa should have been walking into the playoffs, walking into a number 1 seed.
Now Green Bay has it hands down after that win.
It's a 2-game gap now. I mean,
because the Cardinals and Bucks lost. Green Bay is 11-3 or 12
11. So it's a 2-game. Green Bay has to lose 2 games for someone to overtake them. They have to lose 2 of their next 3.
That's right, and that's not going to happen.
No, because Green Bay finished I think that was their most difficult game. Baltimore. It's Cleveland, Minnesota, Detroit.
Okay, yeah, Cleveland, Minnesota, Detroit. Right.
Yeah. Now, so the NFC is I think after tomorrow's Washington Philadelphia game, you're pretty much going to get a good idea who your 1-7 are, and I feel pretty confident that who your teams are 1-7 after tomorrow will be like that when the season ends. Now, go to the AFC. It is the wild, wild west in the AFC.
See, we have a final. Las Vegas Raiders come back and beat Cleveland 16-14.
Yep.
There you go. The Raiders do it on the road, man.
So that puts
kicked off. The Bears Vikings just kicked off. I believe the Vikings are -7. They should be -10. We have nobody on our team. Absolutely nobody.
Yeah, and I've got the game on here. Probably
Minnesota's got the ball 3rd and 2.
Cold night in Chicago, but weather doesn't really look like it's going to play the factor. So that's maybe why your numbers are a tad
Dalvin Cook
lower.
is going to absolutely destroy the Chicago Bears tonight. We have nobody on our team. Our secondary is absolutely. If Jordan Jefferson doesn't get a touchdown every drive, then Kirk Cousins sucks. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We have Chicago. No, I thought Chicago. Well, I thought Chicago played the Packers very well the first part of that game last.
The first half they did. It was
26
or 27-21.
Yeah.
We absolutely came out on fire. I mean, it was ridiculous. We scored literally more points in the first half than we have basically all year. In every game. I mean, we averaged 16.2 points per game, and they scored 27. So,
20. Yeah, that was their highest point total of the year.
Then Green Bay scored 35. 24-3 in the second half is what it was.
Yeah.
So it's just.
I uniforms usually don't bother me all that much. I like the guys who have the striped socks. that's a pretty cool look. But they just had a dude with his striped socks pulled all the way up to like his thighs, and he looked like a goofball.
Oh, Bears are wearing their old uniforms.
Yeah, and they got the Wolverine helmets, and I don't
Yeah,
like the Chicago Bears logo helmet is an absolute classic. Should not be altered, touched, changed with,
100%
at all. They should be banned from ever changing that helmet.
No, I agree with you. Vikings 3rd and 3 on the 42, and Kirk Cousins. Let's see. Yep, 3rd and 3 on the 42. So
yeah, I have no idea.
Anyway, I mean, hey,
streaming TV. I'm 2 minutes behind you, so I'm seeing a the Chicago stopped them there. It's a third, and I'm seeing the 3rd and 3 lineup here.
Yeah. But anyway, it's going to be a long night for Chicago. Again, I don't see how Chicago scores. Actually, they just stopped them 4th and 3. Unless their special teams scores, I don't see how Chicago even touches this game. So
yeah, and this is a game that Minnesota needs.
Mike Zimmer
to stay in playoff contention.
Sam, let's talk about this real quick, man. I talked about the firings that could be going on here in Week 15 in the NFL, and man, I've got 10 coaches, Sam, that could be fired. 10,
and there's not,
and both these coaches in this game are going to get fired.
Not a single coach. I don't think you'll see 10 go this year. I think more along I can see 7 going if you already include the fire. Well, we've already lost 2, so I could see 5, maybe 6 more to go. But both of the coaches in this game, Nagy and Zimmer, they're both gone. They're both gone. Yeah. The Vikings are very. I believe the Vikings are an extremely talented offensive team and should be way better than 6 and 7 and just fighting for the number 7 seed this year.
Their loss to Detroit was inexcusable, just like the Cardinals. I mean, their loss to Detroit was inexcusable. But I mean, like I said, I think that's going to end both these guys' coaching careers. Nagy and Zimmer are gone. Matt Rule, man, from Carolina, I think he's gone. He started out pretty well. I think the major problem wasn't necessarily Matt Rule. I think it was the general manager, man, making that terrible trade for the Jets. I don't understand what they were doing.
General managers survive before coaches do. So
they do.
Yeah.
They do.
So I'm with you. Jacksonville, Houston, those 2 are gone.
David
Vegas's coach is gone. Denver,
Vic Fangio's gone.
50. It's probably better than 50-50 shot that he's
been there. He's there 3 years. He hasn't really done much. Joe Judge out of New York, he's going to be gone.
And one of the mock drafts I saw, I want to say it was last week, had Malik Willis going to Denver. And so if you're going to get a talent like a Malik Willis, he's rough, but I think he's coachable. And so you're going to need a new school coach. I'm just saying that mock draft holds true. Malik Willis goes there. You're going to need a new school coach for some of these new school quarterbacks.
Malik Willis cuts the cloth the same as like Kyler Murray. Okay, kind of same build, does the same things as Kyler Murray. I don't think Malik Willis is an NFL quarterback though. I just don't see it. I mean, he'll be a third rounder. I'd say he's not going to go first round. I think he's a first round stretch.
He's a first round stretch because you have a very thin quarterback class this year.
I think it's going to be your first 3 are going to be defensive tackle, which is going to be Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. You're going to see the offensive tackle out of Alabama, and then you're going to probably see, the linebacker out of Oregon will be number 2, and then the offensive tackle out of Alabama will be 3. It's going to be meat. It's going to be a meat draft, dude.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's going to be that, and it's going to be secondary.
Yeah. Is it Thibodeau? Yeah, Thibodeau from Oregon. And then I'm trying to think of
Let's
the young
see.
man's name from
Let's see.
Alabama.
I'm just gonna pop up. I'm just gonna click the first link that I see here. It's Pro Football Focus. And
Hey,
they're
by the way,
saying
did you see what happened with YouTube TV getting rid of ESPN and Disney?
no, I did not.
Yes, they could not come to an agreement. So YouTube TV
Well,
is back and forth with ESPN and Disney, and there's been arguments back and forth and all this other stuff, man. And they could be gone off YouTube TV.
um, that's bad because when you switch over to streaming TV, sports is one of the things that you lose the most of, and ESPN carries the most sports. Well, I've been doing streaming TV for, I think, about 4 years now, and one of the things that I had to give up was
Local sports.
local baseball.
Yeah, well,
The
in particular,
Nationals games
Massive, yeah.
were on Masson, but so everybody who's still hanging out with Comcast, and you got the big clunky box or whatever in your living room, that ugly kind of stuff. Comcast Xfinity offers a streaming service as well. It's like they're freaking paying me or something to say this. I don't know, but so I just found that I'm able to get a base, whatever channel package from that Xfinity offers. I'm able to get all my channels back, and I'm paying markedly less than because I'm not renting any boxes from them.
Mm.
And I got more channels, and I got better channels than I had when I was with Hulu. So my cell phone service covers my Disney Plus, my ESPN Plus, and my Hulu. So
Right.
why not? You got to get creative in when you're going in this streaming realm.
You do, man. You absolutely do.
And the choices are out there. Everything's out there. Cancel Netflix, and I can't say the last time I've turned Netflix on. I do not get. Nope. I take that back. We watched the Christmas Chronicles yesterday on Netflix. The Christmas Chronicles that's a pretty darn good movie. Kurt Russell is Santa Claus. If there's ever a man made to play Santa Claus, it's Kurt Russell.
Yeah. What's that new show that everybody was loving? Is it Tombstone, or what the heck is it called?
Tombstone's been out for a couple years. 1883 just premiered, I want to say yesterday,
No,
which is the prequel to Tombstone.
Tombstone is that's the one that everybody's like real like going crazy over, right?
Yeah, Tombstone's. I'd heard about it for a couple years, and so we we fired it up here a couple of weeks ago, and it's a freaking good show. If you haven't watched it,
yeah, I just don't. Sports is the only thing I watch, man.
It doesn't take 5 minutes to get into this, and you're like, oh, holy crap!
Yeah, cool.
So yeah. I mean, hey, if you're in the streaming realm as well, look at Xfinity's Stream TV. That's what I've got on right now. I can and there's I get all the sports. I'm a
YouTube TV guy, man. I mean, you pay $70 a month. You could use it in multiple facets and multiple sign-ins, and I'm a big fan.
That's what I thought about, but we ended up. I've had them all. I've had Sling TV. I've had DirecTV's streaming service. Hulu. We've been with the longest. Until I just got the idea. I'm like, wait, maybe you can get it from Xfinity and not have to pay the cable box fee, because I'm in with them for my internet already.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a better deal off of them, because where I'm paying 70. Well, my Hulu was getting ready to go up to like $80.
Yeah.
And so all I did, I increased what I was paying to Comcast by like $35. So I'm ends up saving me about $40.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, it's there's
a lot.
So many different choices out there right
Yeah.
now. Yep, for sure. But yeah, ESPN, Disney is just having a hard time, man. Bears now have the ball, 1st and 10 on the Minnesota 45. Whoa. Nope. I'm sorry. Now Minnesota has the ball. Okay.
No, okay, that didn't
They
take
just
long there,
punted.
did
They
it?
just punted. Okay. Minnesota has the ball on the Minnesota 45. They're driving down now. So
Yeah, so yeah, going through
still
this
scoreless.
draft from mock draft of Pro Football Focus. Aiden Hutchinson, number one, Kayvon Thibodeau, two, Stingley, three,
From Alabama.
Stingley from LSU.
Okay.
Offensive tackle Evan Neal, number four to the Jets. I'm sorry, Evan Neal.
Yeah.
If I could do something for you there, buddy, I would.
Yeah. I had Neil going 3 to the Jets.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I think your 1, 2, and 3 are very. Maybe your number one isn't as interchangeable. Hutchinson, I think, is really a difference maker.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just scrolling down through here, and so it gets to the number 12 pick before the first quarterback comes off the board, going to Washington. Kenny Pickett.
Oh, from Pitt. From Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Pitt, number 1 quarterback, huh?
Yep.
He looks stout, man.
Yeah.
He looks like a stout quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a Ben Roethlisberger kind of comp guy. I mean, he's a big kid with a big arm. Accuracy okay. Athleticism. He's the one who did that fake slide. And caused a whole new rule.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that going to Washington. I really can.
Yeah, not bad. And then they have Matt Corral going to the Broncos here, and so after that, I don't think you have anybody who's in quarterback need. So why stretch for Malik Willis is probably your number 3 quarterback in this draft, but you don't have to stretch for it if you're a place where you've got other needs.
It's going to be the year of the free agent quarterback, man. I mean, you've got moves like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson,
Matt Ryan.
Well, Matt Ryan's got 1 more year on his contract.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's going to try and move him, so he's not exactly the free agent.
He has a significant cap hit, though. I think it's like $35 million for next year, which is going to be tough to move. I mean, no one's going to pay $35 million for Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Then, like we talked about, man, Tyler Huntley is going to be in a very interesting situation here, Sam. He comes out of Utah, right? And this kid, man, like, people are laughing at me like there's no quarterback controversy. Tyler Huntley's he might not stay with the Ravens, man. He might be a starter with an NFL team, man. I mean, he has been absolutely solid with the Ravens.
I thought I thought he looked a little bit raw. There were some things I thought that he forced. He threw when he should have ran. He ran when he should have threw. A couple instances like that. But I blame a lot of that stuff on coaching. I think you have lazy coaches who don't want to do the work and put in the work and make these guys into quality quarterbacks. I think it's happening in Washington with Heineke. I think Heineke can be taught how to play the game. You just have to be a coach willing to do that. But coaches don't always have that time. You get a quarterback, and a coach's reputation is going to be made or lost on that quarterback. I just think it's laziness that to not want to work with and develop a quarterback. Kyler Murray, the Arizona everybody was laughing at them up one side down the other for taking Kyler Murray. Now look what's going on in Arizona, and when you trust your new young quarterback, work with his skills, and have a coach who wants to coach him and teach him, then you can have a great player. And that's what I see in Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis has it between the ears to become a great quarterback. Tom Brady doesn't have the world's best arm. Tom Brady doesn't have the world's best accuracy. Tom Brady is the best thinking quarterback that there is. He's not going to make a bad decision.
So check this out, man. Tyler Huntley, this is his stats from yesterday. 28 of 40, 215, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a rating of 99.5. He also ran 13 times for 73 yards, 5.6 average and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he was responsible for 4 touchdowns, man.
Yeah. And that idea of the mobile quarterback is good. You don't have to be. I don't necessarily want a running quarterback. I want a mobile quarterback. And Jackson and Huntley both have the ability to escape and for on a 3rd and 5 to pick up 9 yards, or a 2nd and 8 to pick up 15, something like that. That's the smart way to use your legs. Run when they don't think you're going to run.
Jordan Jefferson just scored a touchdown, like I said. He was going through, and the extra point's good. Vikings lead 7-0. I mean, the Bears do not have a secondary, so that is it's to be expected. And I expect Jordan Jefferson to have 4 touchdowns tonight. I do. I mean, you should have picked the over on every Jordan Jefferson, or I'm sorry, Justin Jefferson's stats. Pick the over on everything, like I said. So,
so I'm going through, just looking at another mock draft here. This is from CBS Sports. CBS Sports has Matt Corral going 8th pick to the Panthers.
Yeah.
And then they've got Kenny Pickett going 13th to the Saints. That's interesting. The Saints getting if you're the Saints and you've got the choice between Pickett, let's say Matt Corral's still on the board, and you've got the choice between Pickett and Corral, you're in good shape. I think that's what New Orleans needs, is a quality quarterback.
Yeah.
And one of those two has the ability to do it.
Yeah,
no
doubt.
They both. I see a little bit of Drew Brees in both of those guys.
Right on. Well, Sam, that's the show, my friend. That's the show tonight.
We've done it again, huh?
It's another show. I believe you got some content coming tomorrow and Thursday.
Yep, you'll see me.
NFL.
Yeah. So I had an awesome conversation with Matt Dunn of the Tar Heel Lunkers. It was a blast. I went into this conversation thinking one thing about the KFL and came out of it thinking something completely different. So, if you're watching here and you don't know what the KFL is and you haven't heard of the KFL, the Kayak Fishing League, a team concept in fishing, and it's to me, it's mind blowing. I mean, I love to fish. I fish as a hobby. It's fun. But what these guys are going out and doing and competing against each other week after week. There's some pretty smart guys. They're going to be out there on the water doing this stuff. Greg, you covered it all last year. You had a blast with it. I think year 2 of the KFL's going to be better, going to be bigger. And once people, if you just find some KFL, you're like, hey man, I need to know some more about this. I got to follow this a little bit more. It's an extremely interesting take on fishing and take on sports. I'm gonna have a good time writing something up about this.
It's unique, and it's unique, man. And you're getting right into the the prime of this, man. It's just a very unique opportunity for these anglers to really experience what it's like, man. To go out there and be an athlete. I mean, that's what they are. They're legitimately being athletes on the water, man. It's really, really cool.
They're athletes, but then there's also this team aspect that I didn't even think of. When it popped up there, and it seems like it's such a simple concept. There are fishing tournaments. You in the summertime in the South, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a fishing tournament. But it takes that idea of fishing tournaments, but puts a team aspect on it. And you're like, why did nobody ever do this before? This is great. This is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't hard. I mean, it wasn't hard to think of. I mean, we just did. You know what I mean?
Well, it must have been hard to think of because nobody did it till early last year there.
Yeah, but hey, it is what it is, man. We're just trying to Do what's right, man. And one thing about the KFL, Sam, that you're going to find is it's very, very angler centric, right?
Mhm,
It's all
mhm.
about the angler, 100% about the angler.
It is, and the other one of the things that I kind of got the idea from Matt is that, if I'm not having my best day, let me see, there's things that I can do to support my teammates out there, and
Correct.
and then maybe they've got some information to pass along to me, and all of a sudden my day flips around, and I've gone from doing nothing to look how much I've drug in here all day long now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, dude, looking forward to it, my friend.
Awesome.
Let's meet again, shall we?
We will. Next time we'll do it, we will be we'll have all kinds of new presents and toys and gadgets and gazmos
I just want new underwear, man. I'm good.
Really.
You know what I mean?
It's amazing yours can make it through a whole year.
Listen, my underwear has been from Texas, sweating to Michigan, freezing, man. You know what I mean? It's everywhere.
I'll tell you how to fix that, man. You just don't wear underwear.
Yeah, that's true.
Simple.
That's true.
Simple. Then you never have to worry about underwear again.
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta have a fart.
All right.
Man.
All right. With that, everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys. See ya.
See ya.